Alright, listen up, turtles. There may be a lot of powerful people climbing this tower, but do you know who really deserves to climb to the top? That's right, it's Rak Wraithraiser, the greatest hunter there ever was. You've seen Rak's more than impressive skills as the self-proclaimed leader of his team with Bam and Khun. He's strong, arrogant, and prideful, but there's more to Rak than meets the eye. Before we look into Rak himself, we need to take a look at the larger world of Tower of God. For those of you who are still new to this franchise, let's bring you up to speed. Some background info on the Tower of God itself. It may be a new anime as part of Crunchyroll's originals, but it was a manhwa or Korean comic that started all the way back in 2010. There is quite a lot of history behind this series as it's been going on for the better part of a decade. For today though, we will strictly be looking at the 2020 anime developed by Crunchyroll and Webtoon. While the Tower of God is a literal tower, it is by no means just a standalone structure, nor is it a simple building. The world we see and experience in this anime is part of the tower. The tower is made up of three main parts: the inner tower, the outer tower, and the middle area. The tower is largely conquered and ruled by Jihad, known as Zahard in the comic, and of the 135 floors in the tower, 134 of them are controlled by Jihad, with the top floor currently not under his rule. The outer tower is where the residential districts are located. This is where most people chosen to climb the tower, known as Regulars, come from. Now, when I said the tower was big, I meant it. Each floor of the outer tower is said to be about the size of the Americas, that's North and South America combined. Just thinking of that sheer scale is staggering. That would mean that the landmass of the outer tower exceeds that of the Earth. Despite Jihad controlling most of the known floors of the towers, the outer tower is so vast that there are some cultures or lands that have never even heard of the inner tower or of Jihad. Just wait until they hear that bombshell. If someone in the outer tower shows that they have the potential to climb the tower, then they are chosen to become regulars and are given the opportunity to climb the inner tower. This tower is looking less like an actual tower and more like a planet-sized spire. However, we still have another place to cover. We talked a lot about the outer tower, so now let's dive into the inner tower. This is where the bulk of the series will take place. Regulars must pass a series of tests on each floor. These tests are given by the ruler of each floor and the test admins. In the inner tower, there are certain rules and rights regulars can take advantage of. A regular must pass all of the tests of a floor to move up. But once they reach level 20, things change slightly. From level 20, regulars can move to the middle area and go freely from the inner and outer tower. However, if a regular gives up or fails before they reach level 20, then they are stripped of their rights and sent to the middle area to go home, deemed failures and such. However, if a regular fails or gives up after level 20, then they're sent back, but can expect to live a better life than when they entered. This is due to the huge undertaking regulars have to face in order to climb the tower. However, if a regular reaches level 134, they become a ranker and have the option to run a floor of the inner tower. Of course, those who reach above that to the 135th floor will be given everything. They will be made a god. It might be tempting to become a ranker and essentially one piece of the pie, or you can take the whole pie. Hey, out of curiosity, what would you do if you reached the 135th floor? I gotta tell you, if it were me and I managed to get to the 135th floor, and let's be fair, I'm way too out of shape for that, I would probably get every single person in the tower to, oh, you know what I'm about to say. Click like and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. You heard me, come on, put the call to action up in the video. Yeah, you got it, right there. Click that right there. There are dozens of strong and interesting characters that are chosen to climb the tower. However, you already know by now that we'll be talking about Rak in this video. We first meet Rak in episode 2, where the first test is just a free-for-all. In the battlegrounds of the second floor, regulars are pitted against one another in combat. After a certain number of regulars are killed or give up, teams of 3 must be chosen. Bam is unlucky enough to get on Rak's bad side. Rak vows to hunt Bam, who he refers to as Black Turtle. To Rak Wraithraiser, everyone is potential prey. It's not worth remembering your name. Despite his pride and arrogance, he is forced to be partners with Bam and Khun. Of course, Rak assumes the role of leader despite Khun making most of the decisions. He goes so far as to call himself Rak Leader in some cases. Now, I'm sure that you've already seen this kind of character before, the overconfident, arrogant windbag who talks a big game but is often taken down a peg and ultimately humbled. While Rak does eventually accept Bam and Khun in his own Rak way, he's no pushover. Rak possesses an immense strength that is above similar regulars. While his full strength has not yet been measured, we have seen what Rak can do in terms of raw power. He's able to throw his spear long distances and hit with pinpoint accuracy. We see this demonstrated in the Crown game, when Rak throws his spear and hits a sniper rifle out of a gunner's hands from the other side of the huge arena. Rak is an expert with a spear at close range as well as long distance. We see a small sample of Rak's skill when he's facing off against Khun. Rak is able to move his spear with such speed and force, the agile and nimble Khun was only able to get an opening when Rak was distracted. Sometimes the big, strong brute is more than just muscle. Rak also has keen hunting senses, which makes sense if he's supposedly a great and powerful hunter. Even before he knew what they were, Rak was able to sense two powerful weapons, the Green April and the Black March, two powerful swords that are given to princesses of Jihad. Rak has also proven himself to be above taking certain tests. During the hide-and-seek test, Rak got to sit out of the test due to his high marks in the previous test to become a spear bearer. Oh, and before you ask, no, Rak already wielding a spear did not automatically qualify him to be a spear bearer. Rak possesses a lot of unique qualities that make him a standout regular. While we're focusing primarily on the anime from Crunchyroll, Rak does develop other unique abilities later on and demonstrates a high degree of skill, such as his resistance to Shinsu, the divine water that is ever present in the inner tower. This is because Rak and his people regularly swim in Shinsu to hunt. There is no question that Rak will continue to climb up the tower, but it will take more than just a strong arm and spear to climb up to the higher levels in the Tower of God. Rak will also need to rely on the allies he's made along the way, a skill he is not exactly perfected at this point in the anime. For this last part, we'll be looking at Rak and his greater place within the Tower of God world and why exactly he deserves to climb the tower. In order to climb the tower, there are a lot of things a regular must be. They must be strong, clever, adaptable, and smart. Rak is a strong and proud warrior by far, but brute strength alone won't get you very far in the tower. It's perhaps why teams of 3 are formed early on, so the weakness of one is covered by the strength of another. Team Bam has Khun's cunning, Bam's determination, and Rak's strength, a great combination. However, there is one other force that could be at work against our tsundere gator. That would also be a world of politics. The political structure of the tower is shrouded in mystery as far as the anime is concerned, but not the rankers and test admins of the floors. While the shady dealings that are going on with the current floor are because of Bam and his irregular status, it has also put the other regulars at risk, including Rak. The Crown game was an extra test that was not meant to happen. However, even though there was no penalty for participating, the risk was great. While Rak would like to think of himself as the leader and a great hunter, the fact of the matter is he'll need allies if he's going to make it farther up the tower. There is no doubt that Bam will stay by his side. After the Crown game, Rak began to see Bam less as prey to be hunted and more of an ally. Still, Rak will need to get stronger and learn to work with others if he's going to make it higher up this mountain. Never mind that in the webcomic Rak is still an active regular, but we're focusing on the anime at the moment, which as of producing this video has 12 episodes. There's a lot to love about Rak, honestly. He's boisterous, arrogant, and always ready to jump into a fight. If you need skill, cunning, and brains to climb the tower, you will also need strength for sure. It always helps to have a big, strong muscle guy on your team. You need someone strong to carry you when you're weak and take the hits for you. That's why every party needs a tank. But what would Rak want if he climbs the tower? Not much is known about his people or the family he comes from. Based on what we know about him now, we can assume that he comes from a line of warriors and hunters. All that's known about Rak's motivations is that when he gets to the top, he would wish for something to surpass all others. This can be taken a bunch of different ways. Does he want to become so strong and powerful that he surpasses all other beings? Does he want to be the next ruler, one stronger than Jihad? In the beginning, we knew that Bam was Rak's prey because he could sense the power coming from the Black March, a sword that Bam had borrowed from Yuri in Room 1. However, Bam lost the Black March during the Crown game. Still, Rak seems to have a peculiar interest in Bam. We don't know, and we'll have to watch to find out, but from what we've seen of Rak, we can rest easy knowing that this foul-tempered gator will get far in the tower. With a spear in hand and muscles to spare, Rak will crush any and all turtles that come between him and his desires for prey and power. And that is why I think Rak will eventually climb the Tower of God. We would love to hear your thoughts on this new series, or if you're a fan of the webtoon or manhwa, let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe to CBR for more anime content and hit the bell to turn on notifications. Wow, I can't believe I got through that whole script. You think anybody's gonna know that I haven't seen a single episode of this? Oh crap, am I still recording?